All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today. This one will be sort of a Dead update. We got about 4 or 5 different news items related to The Walking Dead. Started with us giving our thoughts on Norman Reedus, answering some questions, giving his thoughts on the future of him as Daryl in the Walking Dead television series. Alright dudes, how's everything going? I hope everything is going well for you, and I decided that we would start off with this one for today because, Daryl is kind of basically the main character of the Walking Dead television series now, with Michonne leaving in Season 10, and there's some info about that coming up here too that we'll give our thoughts on. But with Michonne leaving, and then you have basically Daryl and Carol kind of at that top upper echelon for survivors in the Walking Dead television series. I would put Daryl a little bit ahead of Carol. So I think Daryl is sort of the leading man as far as star power goes, and as far as the characters go of the Walking Dead television series now. So I decided we would start with that news item, and then we'll get into the stuff about Michonne in Season 10, and then Maggie after that, and then Fear the Walking Dead with regards to crossovers and timeline, which there is some new info about. So we'll go through all that stuff. So first, links will all be in the description to all of these. This one is from express.co.uk, and it's about Norman Reedus and his future as Daryl in the Walking Dead television series. So it says, the 50-year-old actor has been on the show since the very first season, and he revealed he has no intention of leaving anytime soon. So first of all, I forgot he was 50, because that's kind of crazy to me. I don't think of Daryl as like the 50 years old in the TV series. If I had to put like an age on him, I would think he's probably like early 40s, or like, maybe like, from 40 to 45 or something like that at the latest, right? It's kind of cool to hear that he's 50 years old. So, Norman Reedus looks good for 50, I think, and he does a great job. So let's hope he stays until he's 60. So it says here, and he still, looks the same, right? I don't want to go anywhere. Reedus recently told the Entertainment Tonight during a recent interview, quote, "I'll burn down the whole studio if they got rid of me," he added, so that's fun. He also noted that he knows that you never know when your time will be up, so that, they can basically kill off anybody anytime, and this whole idea of certain safe characters, there really are no safe characters, and that's never been more true than the last 2 years, as you've had Rick leave, and Carl be killed off, and all these other crazy things that certain characters we thought were safe basically forever, were not. Or Henry, for example, because Carl was killed, so now Henry's got to be safe, and then they kill off Henry too, and you just don't expect that at all. He added, "I always said I wanted to walk off into the sunset with a dog, but now so many people are doing that, I don't know." So he revealed, "I don't know how I'd want to die. I don't want to die ever, so I don't want to put it out there." So he doesn't want to let us know what his character death would be or what the ending for Daryl would be, because he doesn't really want to. He's saying that, walking off into the sunset with dog is kind of a common thing, I guess, if you look at video games and stuff like that. That does sound kind of fitting, or that sounds kind of normal, or what we would expect to be the norm. Maybe we can expect to see him, I personally think, like, going forward now, knowing that Rick will never return to the Walking Dead television series based on what Andrew Lincoln said, if that's true, if Rick can never come back, and that's really true, and he doesn't change on that at any point, you kind of probably want Daryl to stay in the show until the very end of the show. So if it's 20 years of the Walking Dead original series, you probably want to have Daryl until Season 20. And even if sometimes he has to become a background character, or he leaves on a journey for a while, like we've seen happen with Maggie and recently with Andrew Lincoln, but then have him come back later as kind of an older version of Daryl, you kind of always probably want him as a character alive in the universe. You probably, at least this is my thoughts on this, I don't think you ever want to totally kill Daryl off, and if you do it, it probably should be at the very end of the show. So you're deciding that the show is ending, and Rick, of course, is gone, and there's all that. So because he's gone and because so many of these other characters are gone, you probably want to have at least one character there for the entire show. And I guess you could do that with Carol, but I tend to think that it probably should be Daryl. And I would not be surprised if Daryl was the last man standing, if he survived The Walking Dead. And then at the very end, he did kind of wander off into the sunset and that kind of thing. And I'd be happy with that ending too. And maybe I'd be more happy with that ending than any others, because Beth said it, right? It's what Beth said. And that's one of the only good things about about the character of Beth, is that one line that she said, Emily Kinney's character, that he'll be the last man standing. And it sounded cheesy at the time. It sounded kind of like, please, right? That type of thing. But in the long run, that ends up being kind of, at least for me, kind of true. And I also like the idea of Lydia as being like this Beth 2.0 type of thing for Daryl, like a daughter kind of deal, because he doesn't obviously have children. He finished, I don't want to give anyone any ideas, so he doesn't want to influence the writing team or the end team eventually, if that ever does. Well, eventually it's going to happen at some point, right, in our lifetime. We're going to see it, I would think, because he's older than me anyway. So I'm about 18 years, so I got 18 years younger. So I got time's on our side, right, guys? Most of us. I know there's some older viewers that are over 50, so I don't want to speak for you guys, but for most of us, we'll probably end up seeing it. It does seem as though the show's main characters have been dropping like flies around Daryl. The arrival of one of the most dangerous villains the show has ever seen, the Whisperers, has led to a whole slew of characters being killed. Season 9 saw the zombie skin-wearing survivors kill Jesus, Tom Paine. Then Alpha, Samantha Morton, chose to kidnap 10 characters and put their heads on pikes to send other survivors a message. So that's pretty cool. So you guys can read through it yourselves if you want to. Basically, it sounds to me like he's accepting that no characters are truly safe in the show, but at the same time, he basically wants to stay on the show until the very end. So I'm happy with that, or even on further as a character, and I personally like that. You got to have somebody survive. And even if he becomes like this eventually in a few seasons or something, if he has to wander off on some kind of adventure or journey for a couple years, like 2 seasons or something, and we don't see him for a while, that actually fits better with Daryl than anybody else, because he's the type of character that can be a lone wolf. So he can go off, as we've seen before. He can go off with Dog and be in the background as kind of a sort of a mysterious figure that's kind of out there, and we don't know what's going on with him. But we're sure he's alive. Like, we're sure nothing's killed Daryl, and he's out there, right? We know it. And so he's out there somewhere, and then eventually you bring him back, maybe just here and there, to remind us that it's the same series that it was. Because you need some characters there that keep us in mind that we're watching the same show, even if you totally change out almost all of the roster, which has kind of happened already, sort of. Or at least, majority of it has been switched out in the last few years, which is crazy. So then we have the next one. Let's go through the Michonne one first, and then we'll do the Maggie one after. So the Michonne one is that Walking Dead boss teases meaty story in giant Michonne ending. So apparently there's going to be a giant Michonne ending for Michonne in the Walking Dead TV series in Season 10. So this is Season 10 stuff here. In Season 10, we know it's going to be the last season for Michonne in the Walking Dead television series, and they're saying now that it's going to be a big storyline. So maybe it'll be the first half of the season, maybe it'll be 5 episodes like it was with Rick. Whatever they do, in Season 10, it's going to be a big concentration. It sounds like it's going to be meaty, so there's going to be a lot to it for her leaving. It's not just going to be simplistic, and we will see it. So she told Deadline, we're excited to tell a nice, meaty story for her Season 10 regardless. So if she's leaving or she's staying or whatever, it's going to be a big deal in Season 10, and we can expect to see a lot from that. But yeah, she's going to be leaving so far as we know, and so that should be exciting to see her final last season as Michonne for Denai Guerrera. It should be good. And then the other one is for Maggie. So that's Lauren Cohen, who says that it's not over for Maggie on The Walking Dead. So she says, quote, it's not over. So what does that mean for us? It means that, I guess, regardless of whether or not Whiskey Cavalier, which is her new show, gets renewed for a second season, in her mind, based on what she's saying here, I'm paraphrasing here, but it sounds like in her mind, she still views herself as Maggie, and she still views Maggie's work as not finished. It sounds like she views it as, we're going to find out eventually what's going on for Maggie. And here it says here, but Cohen was clear that she definitely sees the character continuing, and that she often has Maggie on the mind. Quote, I don't ever feel like it's in the past, says Cohen. It's the weirdest thing, and I would never know it until I was in the situation, but I think about Maggie all the time. She's always like inside of me. This sounds weird, but she is. It's partly knowing the story is continuing, the story is unfinished, but it's partly having active conversations all the time with Angela and with Scott. So she's talking with both Angela Kang and also Scott Gimple for The Walking Dead, as both of them are. You know, he's still, even though he's not show running the original Walking Dead series, he's still probably, you know, just as heavily involved, if not more than ever, with all the different stuff they're doing. You know, I think that's easy to say here. No, because the potential for, okay, I missed a sentence there. Okay, so, but it's mostly because in one way I was like, wouldn't it be cool if he had just some epic hero's death? Or, sorry, yeah, so wouldn't it be cool if he had just some epic hero's death and it was over? And then I get so sad because I'm like, no, the potential for what worlds we could create. It's like, hey guys, you didn't know this was happening, but by the way, come with us and explore this. So about kind of the different options they have. And if they kill off a character, it's final, right? So if they killed off Rick, it's over. You can't do anything with Rick after that. It's almost better to open the world up, have them leave sometimes if they have to, and then figure out what you're going to do after that with a storyline or movie or whatever happens to be, right? Cohen was on the brink of tears as she talked about her connection to the character and getting to continue playing her moving forward. Quote, I have goosebumps right now. I'm emotional, and I'm so glad, and it's so cool to kind of be this little walking house of stories that she's there, and Frankie from Whiskey Cavalier is there. And obviously the impact and amount of time with Maggie, that's such a huge part of me and my life, and as an actor, or my life as an actor, and my coming to as an actor and everything. So no, it's definitely not done. I'm way too sentimental a person. So there's some more. You guys can read through it if you want. That's kind of the gist of the most important part that I took, that she's confirmed for us in her mind it's not over for Maggie, and that eventually she sees it as eventually she will return at some point, that the work on that character is not yet done. And I think that's a good thing because there is more space in The Walking Dead now than when she left. There's more space now than probably ever. If you look at the last two leaders of the Hilltop, for example, been smoked like that, you know, Jesus and then Tara. So, yeah, you know, you could have, and then Michonne leaving too, you realize how important those characters are. So yeah, I think she'll be back eventually too. Hopefully Whiskey Cavalier doesn't succeed. No, maybe. Hopefully it doesn't. She gets work there, but she can come back part-time, at least for a bit, until eventually Whiskey Cavalier maybe doesn't get renewed, and then she comes back full-time or something. That'd be sweet, right? I'm not such a big fan of the movie idea for Maggie. Even though it could be okay, I'm just... I don't know. I kind of tend to think that she should probably just be back in the regular show because everyone's going off to do these movies and stuff. And I feel like Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride are kind of having to carry this show with everyone else leaving. You need more people there to help them. The weight should be all on their shoulders as OG Walking Dead characters while everyone else gets to go off on new projects, and they got to keep carrying that banner, carrying that flag, right? It's kind of unfair if you think about it in some ways. Granted, they get paid a lot, so that makes it easier. Yeah, exactly. They find it funny too as they're laughing all the way to the bank. Fear the Walking Dead. Okay, so what timeline does Fear the Walking Dead take place in? And possible Fear the Walking Dead more crossovers or Abraham or whatever, this kind of thing. So there's speculation online. So, quote, it's a rare thing, Gimple told press at WonderCon when asked if more Walking Dead characters will follow Morgan, Lenny, James, and Dwight to Fear. Quote, it's not going to happen like this a lot, but I will say there are different sorts of crossovers we are going to do to tie the shows together, tie the universe together in certain ways that have to do with the greater happenings of the world. So kind of a more connected story. And then we have in telling stories of the past, we might see characters interact or just see those characters we've not seen in a while, Gimple teased. And then one such mini crossover is possible through video journalist Althea, Maggie Grace, who in season 4, okay, so they go into that, we know about her tapes and everything. But there's a possibility for Abraham and Eugene, right? The doctor says when Madison is rummaging through Al's tapes, we see they're all labeled. Showrunner Ian Goldberg said on Talking Dead when confirming the tapes is an Easter egg. And each one's labeled. We tell a story. They're all stories that Al has captured at one point or another in her travels. If you look closely, some of those names might ring a bell. If you're a fan of the Walking Dead universe, you might get excited about some of the stories that she's captured. So the possibility of maybe a flashback with Abraham is still kind of possible for Fear. It'd be cool to get to see Michael Cudlitz reprise his role if Eugene, the actor who plays Josh McDermott, was willing to do it with him. That'd be kind of cool if they could do something with the two of them in Fear, just as kind of a part of an episode as an Easter egg or something. That'd be really sweet. So I hope that we could see something like that in the future. That'd be really good for Fear. And I wanted to get to some of your guys' questions today, but it sounds like we're running for time, and I try to keep the videos at least under 20 minutes. I don't want them to start getting half an hour each, that kind of stuff. It's just too long for everybody. So that'll be it for today's video, guys. Kind of a dead update for you, some different updates and happenings regarding The Walking Dead. Season 10 with Michonne, future for Maggie, future for Daryl, what we can kind of expect to see, and Fear the Walking Dead, possible more crossovers to come, with Scott Gimple sort of confirming before that we're going to see more connectivity, I suppose, between the different series. So that's what we got. So, okay, let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments below. If you like the video, like it. Thumb it up below. Share, favorite. And I want you guys to all, keep watching the videos. Enjoy. Get ready for Game of Thrones if you're a fan. If not, no problem. I'll have Walking Dead videos for you. Fear the Walking Dead videos. Walking Dead comic book series videos. All kinds of stuff coming up. So be sure you're subscribed if you want to get those in your updates. And click the bell for the notifications to get an email when we've posted new videos so you can see what they're about. That's it for this one, guys. See you soon. Trev, say peace. Later, guys. See ya.